Hi everyone, and welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm back with another cheesecake mousse cake creation, and this one is perfect for the summertime because you don't have to turn your oven on. I'll be making my no-bake caramel raspberry mousse cake. I'm going to start things out with a raspberry jello center, cover that up with a caramel mousse, finish it off with some whipped cream, raspberries, and some really neat chocolate garnishes. Today I'll be using my homemade caramel sauce and stabilized whipped cream. You can find those recipes on my channel, or you can also head down into my video description box and I'll include those links. Let me show you how to make it. Now my raspberry jello layer is actually going to be a little bit smaller. We're going to hide it on the inside of the caramel mousse. So I've lined an 8-inch cake pan with some plastic wrap. It's just going to be easier to transfer that jello. I'm just going to line it with some raspberries along the edges. For the jello, I'm using 3 ounces of raspberry flavored gelatin. I'm going to place that into a large measuring cup and then add in 1 cup of boiling water. And stir this around until that gelatin is completely melted. And then add in a cup of ice water to cool that gelatin down. Pour the jello over the raspberries. I'm going to gently transfer this jello layer into the refrigerator and allow it to set completely. It takes about an hour. Meanwhile, we're going to prepare our graham cracker crust. Today I'm using golden graham crackers. You can also use chocolate ones. For the crust, I'm going to place 10 graham crackers into a food processor and then just pulse them into fine crumbs. And then pour in a 1/4 cup of melted butter and pulse again until those crumbs are well coated. Transfer the crumbs into a 9-inch springform pan and then press into the bottom of the pan to create an even and firm crust. My crust is all done. I'm going to set this aside and my jello layer is just about done in the refrigerator. Now I'm going to get started working on my caramel mousse layer. So I have 8 ounces of cream cheese that I've softened in my mixing bowl, and I'm going to add about 1 cup of my homemade caramel sauce. Now, if you don't have time to make it, you can just use a can of store-bought dulce de leche. And I took this out of the refrigerator maybe about 45 minutes ago. It's still nice and thick, just the consistency we need for this recipe. And then cream this all together for a few minutes until it's fluffy and smooth. Next, I'm going to add in 2½ cups of chilled heavy cream. And then mix that all together again for about 3 to 4 minutes until you get a fluffy and stiff whipped cream. And so that our mousse sets up nicely, I've measured out 3 teaspoons of unflavored gelatin, and to that I'm going to add in 3 tablespoons of water. Give that a mix and then take it over to the microwave. I usually heat it for about 45 seconds and I stir it every 10 to 15 seconds until that gelatin is completely dissolved. You want to pour the hot gelatin into the caramel mousse, grab your mixer and mix it all together for about a minute. I just took my jello layer out of the refrigerator and it's nicely set, and now it's time to add this layer over our crust. Drop it in. I want to make sure that's nicely centered and then lift out the pan. You could take a little spoon or spatula and just nudge that jello into the center and then transfer the mousse over the raspberry layer. And I'm going to use an offset spatula to level off the top. Now you might see I have this acetate cake collar. It's just a sheet of plastic that wraps around your mousse cake, so it's a little bit easier to take it out of the pan when it sets. And now my mousse cake is ready for the refrigerator. I'm going to let it chill overnight. It takes about 6 to 8 hours to set up completely. We'll come back tomorrow to do the reveal. I'm going to add some whipped cream, chocolate garnishes, and more raspberries on the top. Then we'll dig in to enjoy this cake. And for the chocolate garnishes, I'll be using a little bit of dark chocolate melts, some red chocolate melts, and you can even make this the day before or the day of. You'll also need a little sheet of plastic acetate, and I have this on the blog in my shop. And then we're going to spread this over the sheet of acetate. Grab a handy little bench scraper. I'm going to spread it in an even layer over the plastic. And then I'm going to turn the bench scraper over and use the scalloped edge to create a design. You want this first layer of chocolate to be set up completely, and I usually just place it into the refrigerator and it sets up in a matter of minutes. Then we're going to pour over the dark chocolate and spread this one evenly over the top as well. Allow the chocolate to semi-set for a few minutes and then grab a sharp knife and section the chocolate. I'm going to create long rectangles first. And once the chocolate sets completely, all you have to do is peel it gently away from the sheet of acetate. How cool is that? It's really nice and glossy. It's going to be the perfect garnish for this cheesecake. And now it's time for the big reveal. Let's go ahead and take off the springform pan. I'm going to transfer it gently onto my cake stand. And then I'm going to top this off with a little bit of whipped cream. You can use my stabilized whipped cream recipe or just plain old whipped cream. And that recipe is in the description box. Pipe some dollops onto the top of the cake. Garnish the top with some fresh raspberries. And I am most excited to show you guys what this cake looks like on the inside. It's absolutely stunning. Check that out. Isn't that so cool? So you've got the raspberry jello layer on the inside covered by that caramel mousse topped with whipped cream. Oh, this is going to taste amazing. I am so excited for you guys to try this cake. I love it when I have a recipe idea in mind and it comes out even more beautiful than I imagined. I mean, seriously, look at this cake. It's absolutely show-stopping. I'm going to dig in and give this a try. Love to get a little bit of whipped cream. You could just set that chocolate garnish on the side and enjoy it later. This cheesecake is just out of this world incredible, so good. You guys are going to be floored from the very first bite of this cake. I absolutely love that tart and fruity raspberry jello center covered with that sweet caramel mousse. Add a little whipped cream on the top and you are all set. I will literally be having at least 2 slices of this as soon as I'm done filming. It is just so darn good. If you're going to make this recipe, and you absolutely should, head down into my video description box. I always leave a link there to my blog where you can save this recipe to Pinterest, print it off for yourself later. Of course, if you ever make it, don't forget to share on Instagram. I always love to see your guys' creations. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.